So we want our big boss here to be able to fire bullets at the player. So if we zoom in on him a little bit, we can see he's got 4 different points here where he's going to shoot his guns out of. So we've got bullets that will appear out of this bit and this bit here, and those will be our first round of bullets. And then once our lasers get exposed, then we'll switch to using these 2 extra bullets here that'll shoot away at the player as well. So to do that, we're obviously going to need some points in space so that our scripts will know to instantiate bullets at these positions. So let's go ahead and create them as child of the boss himself. So we're going to create an empty, and we're going to call this shot point 1. Actually, if we put it as shot point space 1, we should be able to get it to automatically update. So shot point 1, we're going to put this down here like that. We'll duplicate it, and of course it didn't update. Sometimes in Unity they will automatically concatenate up to 2, but that one didn't work. So we're just going to manually drag this up so it's in position in the center of this shot here. Then we're going to create another one, shot point 3, and this one is going to appear on these little mini cannons. And finally, shot point 4 will be on the other little mini cannon. Okay, so we've got our positions where we're going to shoot from, but now we need some bullets to fire. And we don't want to use just the same prefab bullets that we've used for our enemy lasers here, but we will use these as a template almost for our boss's bullets. So we'll just click and drag this, drop it into the world here. Then I'm going to break that prefab. So break prefab instance, and we're going to change this to be boss laser. And then in our art files, we're going to grab one of these bigger lasers that we've got here. Let's go for we'll go for this kind of slightly thinner one, but also bigger than what we've currently used. So we'll pop that in there. If we zoom in a bit, you can see our collider for this is now quite a bit smaller. So I'm going to stretch that out a little bit. Where's our box collider? There we go. I'm going to stretch that out like that. So now we'll have some bigger bullets for our player to avoid, and we're going to make them move a little bit faster as well. So we're going to say that they move at -20. So they're that little bit harder for our player to avoid as well. Okay, so we've got that one bullet. So those will be the bullets we use for phase 1, these outer guns. But we're going to use the bigger bullet for when we're on phase 2. So let's duplicate this. We'll call this boss laser 2. And we're going to use this sprite for that. So we'll pop that in into the slot up there. And if we zoom in, I'm just going to move it down a bit so we can see it properly. We can see that this one is wider but also shorter. So we're going to adjust the box collider again, make it a little bit shorter and a little bit wider, not too much wider, but there we go, just that little bit wider so it's harder to avoid for the player. And because these are bigger shots, they're going to move slower. So we'll set the move speed of these be back down to 15, the same as our other enemies. Okay, so we've got our 2 bullets. Let's make them prefabs. So we're going to pop that one in there, and then the other boss laser will pop in there too. So that's perfectly fine. So we can delete them from the world now, like that. And then we can return to our boss himself and actually make him shoot those lasers. So let's go into our boss here. So we'll obviously need a reference to those individual lasers that we want to fire. So we're going to say public game object laser 1 and public game object laser 2. Then we're going to need the points that they're going to shoot out of. So we'll have public transform shot point 1 like that. And since there's going to be 4 of these, I'm going to cut down on the amount of time it'll take me to type them all out and just copy a few of them like that and change them to be shot point 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we've got our places that we're going to shoot from and the laser we're going to shoot. Now let's be able to count down between our shots. So we'll have public float shot delay and private float shot counter like that. And then we know that we want to keep these shots going the whole time. So if we're in phase 0 or phase 1, we want to keep those 2 outer guns firing. Or sorry, if we're not in phase 0 or phase 1, we want to keep those 2 outer guns firing. We want to wait until the boss is on screen before we do any bullets like that, because we don't want him shooting before the player can even see him. That's not very fair, really. So after our if statements for moving him, what we'll have here is have our shot counter counting down. So we'll say shot counter minus equals time dot delta time, like that. And then of course the next thing we want to do is set it so that whenever our shot counter goes below 0, so if shot counter is less than or equal to 0, well, in that case you better instantiate some bullets. So instantiate laser 1 at the shot point 1 dot position and shot point 1 dot rotation, and also instantiate another bullet or another laser at shot point 2 dot position and shot point 2 dot rotation. And of course, when our shot counter goes down below 0, we want to make sure that we reset that back. So that's how we're going to get our boss shooting at us. So let's save that and we'll pop back into Unity and set all that up and test it out before we go any further. Waiting for it to compile. There we go. Okay, so on our boss here, on the boss battle script, actually, there we go. We want to hook up all our shot points first of all. So we'll pop shot point 1, shot point 2, shot point 3, shot point 4. We want to hook up our lasers. So we'll put boss laser there and boss laser 2 in there. Our shot delay, we want to make him be able to be rapidly shooting. We'll set it at 0.5 of a second for the moment. That might be a little bit too fast and intense, but that's okay. We'll set it there for now. And with all that set up, let's go ahead and play the game and see it all in action. So we count down, boss is on screen. There we go. Now we got our bullets flying at us. We've got this kind of tunnel we can deal with in the middle. Oh, we've taken some damage. And so now at this stage, we're onto the part where we need to start shooting at these laser hand things to be able to move on to the next phase of the boss battle.